This is the smoke of an incense. I was guided to light this one. It's the last one I got. So here we are. I've been wanting to do an energy update for probably a week now, but every time it just didn't align, didn't feel right, or something else came up. And this morning, or this rising, I like to say this rising rather than morning, I felt like this jolt to like do this. If you don't know who I am the Bright Queen. I am Queen Sensitivity. I am Jabria. And my whole aim, my whole intention, put this down a little bit more. My whole purpose for doing everything that I do, my pick a cards, my live energy updates, any posts that I make, any creations that I make, and even anything in my normal life, is to trigger and activate something in people to get them to remember themselves and to remember who they are and to push them that little step further on their journey to ascension. That's what I want to do. And I do that by many means, including the use of my gifts, my talents, things like that. I do want to say on my channel, The Bright Queen, I have released an attraction affirmations meditation. This is something that is very powerful, very strong. For me, the night that I made it, it worked like instantly. I would say after like 4 hours maybe, I attracted something that I guess I wanted subconsciously to me. The original MP3 is available on my Ko-fi page. That link is in the is in the description of the meditation itself. That's a way that you can support me if you really like the meditation and you want to give me a monetary boost, which I would really appreciate. You can do that by purchasing the original MP3. With the original MP3, I would highly recommend that you say the affirmations out loud, because that way you're activating them as I say them. And so it's putting your own essence, your own power, your own magic into the activations to activate them more. With the one that I uploaded for free on YouTube, I would say that one is more of a listening one that I would recommend you do in any space that you feel comfortable. Sometimes I like to listen to it when I'm on walks or driving in my car, or sometimes when I'm laying down listening to them. And when you're listening to them, make sure that you're present at least for the first 15 minutes or so that you can, like I said, put your own essence, your own magic into it to attract what you want in your life. Okay? So if you're still watching by now, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up or the hearts or whatever it is, and that'll help people who want to find content like this to find them. I feel like I want to go first with this Kali Oracle deck. It's by Alana Fairchild. I really like Alana Fairchild decks. I always recommend these decks to people who aren't super into tarot and oracle cards. Like if you don't read them yourself or you don't do readings for anybody else, I always recommend her decks because I feel like she does a good job of writing. It's pretty lengthy pages. I don't know why I'm advertising for Alana Fairchild, but I wanted to say that. Right now there's like things going on with my throat chakra. It's because I've recently just started talking. I haven't really been talking today. The incense that's burning is frankincense, I believe. We'll put this here. Some topics that I wanted to like go over, I wrote them in my notebook. One of them was doomsday prepping. Do I have it written down? Yeah. Doomsday prepping. I feel like there's a lot of that going on because of like the media, like the social media, and also what's going on like politically in America, and I guess therefore the world, or is it? I feel like there's a lot of like fear mongering. people like making posts and like shares that are like, oh, like it's gonna go to shit and it's gonna be horrible. And this is also something that like my friend was telling me, that they felt like everything was just gonna go to hell. And I'll admit that I also give into these thoughts as well too. Thank you so much, whoever liked this video. Thank you. I admit that I also give into these thoughts sometimes too, and I'm like ranting with my cousin. But the response that I had to that, like to my friend, which is the response that I would give myself, is that, so what happens is whenever these beings, right, these beings that are intending all these things, they have stepped out of love, right? They've stepped away from God, so to speak. And so that's where you have like the idea of like antichrist, right? So if you step away from God, which is to step away from the self, which is to step away from love, you are no longer able to access that creator spark within you, is what I call it. Like a little keystone within you, a little creative spark. You're no longer able to access that. What you can do is manipulate people who have that, who are still connected to that. What you can do is get other people to create it through them. And I guess you could kind of like apply this to like the Adam and Eve story, where like the devil needed Eve to pick the fruit so that Eve could be the one that like betrayed, because the devil can't do it themselves, if that makes sense. So that's why it's really important whenever you see like these fear-mongering posts, or getting this sense of like doom is coming, let's prepare for the worst type of feeling, empower yourself rather than disempower yourself. Because these events that I guess they want to manifest, which I feel like are not going to manifest, they manifest through us. They manifest through our beliefs. You preparing for something, you preparing for the worst, is what's manifesting it, is what's creating it. So when you see these things, I recommend what's it called, like clicking the little not interested thing, or just not giving into them. There was the news on in my house, and I saw it, and I saw, this is where I guess it kind of sparked this message of like the doomsday, because this political news thing was on, and it was like, oh no, everybody's upset. And I felt spirit, or I felt my highest self saying like, I just don't pay no mind to this, like, because they want you to be buying into this so that you can create these events, because they can't do it themselves. Hi, Brody. Um, it's probably Brody. But anyways, this is something that I saw in the movie Wicked. There's so much in the movie Wicked, but Elphie, I don't know. I forgot the name. I'm not a big play person. But anyways, the reason they needed her to go to Oz, to like the Wizard of Oz city, the reason they needed her to like open and do the spell of the book is because he couldn't do it himself, because he was a fraud. He was a fake. He gave up his own creator power by trying to seek it or get it outside of love, by trying to control other people. And so he needed Elphie to do it for him. So that's a good example of like what I'm saying. Like, they need you to do it for them. So don't do it for them. Do it for yourself. Listen to my activations, attraction meditation, and do it yourself. Manifest what you would like to be. Something I really like about this deck is that it always gives you like the perfect card. So see, look, it's standing up on its own. Boom. Ooh, a baby. Devi Ma Kali. Look how pretty that is. Ooh. 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 I actually got like a slightly like heavier energy with this, with here, which is also like something that I wanted to bring up in this energy update, is that I've been picking up on or feeling like the presence of like more beings. And I think specifically those that have passed on. So if you want like more, I guess, context to this, check out my previous energy update. I actually forget what it's called. Let me open the door because the kitty wants to go out. Oh, I got you, keep it in. Go. Try to slide back in here gracefully. Lord mercy. Okay. So yeah, I've been picking up like more beings, like more like beings being around. Like I said, I think it's mostly like passed on people. And I think for a lot of you who like need to feel or receive this message, it's like passed on people from like way back in your ancestral line of this time, but you never met them obviously, because remember you did, but it's like further back. It's not so much close relatives, like recently ones that you've known. And that's also something I want to talk about. It's like I was saying, every year, or I don't know, just progressively, more and more of my abilities, more and more of my gifts, and just who I am activate and come back online. And this is another one of them. I talked about having premonitions, like my dreams, getting more premonitions in my dreams. Like anytime I remember a dream, it's something that's going to happen, like an event that's going to happen, like accessing future timelines, or just like truths about people. They're always like, now I feel like they're always more concrete, or like more, like I said, like timeline events, rather than just like woo-woo shit from like my deep emotions. And I feel like seeing the ones that have passed on is like, and specifically around, is like something that's developing more for me. And I say this as it's also developing more for you. If you ever wonder, because this is also something that I want to talk about, and I'll probably be jumping from different topics, because as I said, I have been wanting to do this for over a week now. So I have a few different topics, but this is one of them. Was the feeling of not feeling as special as somebody else, like feeling like someone like me or someone you see online has like more gifts and abilities than you do, or is more special than you are. If you feel this way, which I sometimes do, it's mostly because we've been trained to think this way. We've been trained to like compare ourselves and like put ourselves down and not think very highly of ourselves. Like if you think about elementary school, like it's taught very early on that like you're not, or at least for me it was like, you're not special. You're like the same as everyone else, and everyone else sucks. Like nobody else is great. Like you're all very just below mediocre. It's like a very strong message that I got from my early childhood education. And so it's not really you that's like thinking these things as an adult. It's just programming. But one way that you can like activate your gifts more and become more spiritual, become more psychic, become more telepathic, have claircognizance, clairsentience, have prophetic dreams and things like this. These are the things that I've done, that I've known, that have activated me and gotten me more heightened senses, I would say. I think number one would be meditation. For me, my kind of meditation has to be where I lie down and I listen to something, either beats or an activation or a meditation of some sort, because I'm a very, like my most, if not my second most, my second most prominent psychic ability is clairaudience. Like I hear things a lot. I feel like that one goes back and forth with claircognizance, just knowing, and that claircognizance often comes with seeing things. But I'm a very auditory person, so my meditations have to have sound. If they don't, it usually doesn't work. And in these meditations, while I'm in this state, I'll ask things that I want. I'll ask, show me what I need to know. Show me what I need to know. Show me my memories. I want to remember everything again. Show me my memories from my past lives. Show me what I need to know. Um, Show me about this. Anything that you want, like set that intention and ask for it. And what happens with me is that it probably won't come right away. I've literally had it where like I asked for something, I asked to see, have a vision of something, and it didn't come. So I just went to sleep. And then when I went to sleep, I saw. So like be patient because your highest self is always acting at the highest, I feel like, good for yourself. And so sometimes it just needs like a slight time delay. I don't know how to like explain it. Like there's a divinity to it, but also like it's yours. So like make sure you're standing on business when you're requesting to see and access certain things. So that's number one, meditation for me. It could even be like meditation. I feel like is sometimes when I'm driving my car and I'm listening to my favorite songs and like really in a zone. Like sometimes it'll come that way, like different messages and things. Second way, I'm doing the French counting. They start with the thumb, right? 1, 2. The second way that I would say that I've like woken up or activated my abilities is through other spiritual people. Because I'm such an empath, because I'm such water, I'm so watery, and I can feel and like I'm greatly impacted by I would say external things is by being around other spiritual people. Whenever I had my sensitive souls group chat, I would get messages all the time just through being connected to those people. Or when I've been in contact, I had a friend I was close to. This smoke is getting on my nerves. Let me shift it. I had a friend that I was close to. She was also highly spiritual. I got so many big downloads being connected to her. If you don't have any like spiritual friends or counterparts, whoever at this time, then seek them out online. Like watch the videos of people who also are very intuitive, especially if you're an empath, and that'll start like getting your gears turning to activate things within you as well. Um, what's another way that I feel like I've like activated myself or gotten more of my spiritual abilities turned back online, my natural gifts and abilities? I would say number 3 is like confirming like things for yourself. So I would say, especially because of me, because I come from a very southern background, in case you can't hear it in my voice, there's a lot of like shaming or like calling it like the devil's work and witchcraft in the South. Like if you have any of these abilities, which are of course just distortions, because that shit ain't true. It's actually the opposite. But you'll have like all these fears or internalized hate and disbelief for your own abilities, which I feel like hinders them and blocks them. So one of the things, I would say the third thing that's helped me to activate these gifts more and become more psychic and become more myself would be to confirm these things. So whenever I've had like an insight, a knowing, something like that, like saying it, telling it to one person or writing it. I have a lot of notes, writing it in my notes, things like that. And then when they come to be, telling that person, like, didn't I tell you that this was going to happen? Or didn't I tell you that there was something about this? Or going in my notes and seeing myself, like, I typed this in and it's the date and it's the time stamped. And like, I knew this before it happened. Really helped to like boost my confidence and to get rid of these like beliefs that I'm lying or I'm not telling the truth or that I'm just making shit up. Right? I feel like this is something that I was thinking of when I was in the shower earlier, because I was like, people will probably say I'm crazy if I say I saw someone who wasn't there in the corner. But if you think about it, wouldn't it be the person who can't see them that there's something wrong with them? And a way to think about it is that show C with Jason Momoa on Apple. But basically, it's this world, it's this alternate reality of Earth, I think way, way, way in the future, where everybody is blind, like literally blind, they can't see. And so the people who can see are considered witches. They're considered like these inorganic kind of something's wrong with them things. And so that's basically how it is now. Like, wouldn't it be the person, if a being is in the room, if an angel is in the room, you know, some people might be like afraid of the word being. So if an angel is in the room and there's someone who can't see it, wouldn't it be the person who can't see it that they need to wake up? They need to um, activate, turn on something within themselves. So with that said, I feel like that's the gist of this card, is to awaken, to birth something within yourself, or that it's already happening. I'm seeing the 324. Please don't forget what I said about the doomsday prepping stuff. Please be preparing for the best. Yeah, in my honest opinion of things, I feel like things are going to be surprisingly fantastic. I feel like that's the ploy, though, to like get you to believe that it's gonna suck and it's gonna be horrible, so that you then create it, so that even if like positive things happen, you'll just ignore them, because what's it called, like when you want something to be true, so you only look for the facts of that. Be very, very careful about these things, and make sure that if you can't be positive, if you can't believe that something amazing is going to happen, be neutral. Be out of the mix. Just be very neutral. But please do not put your energy, put your magic into creating the worst. Our children deserve better than that. I think I'm going to read this. So it says here, there are times when we just need our mother. This is natural and necessary. However, for whatever reason, we may not be able to turn to the mother figure in our lives in our times of need. There is no need to feel deprived during such moments, for we have a divine mother who wants to help and has endless resourcefulness to do so. The problem of receiving grace is never with the source of it. By its nature, grace flows with generosity. So needing to earn or deserve it goes against the very nature of grace itself. However, we can struggle to be open to it and to have a subconscious resistance to receiving. Intellectually, we may know that we are worthy of being helped, and even that others will also benefit when we are flourishing, so that grace brings multiple benefits to all, yet we can still be more attracted to the difficulty than the resolution. I just said that. I'll read it again. Yet we can still be more attracted to the difficulty than the resolution. Why is that? We cannot underestimate the influence of belief systems. I just said all this. I feel so cool. Created in response to childhood trauma and the impact these unchecked beliefs can have in our adult lives. The beauty is that Callie will not only help us identify where we have our blocks, she will also help to liberate the soul by providing us with a choice. We can allow her to consume those past traumas, relieving the soul of karmic burdens. Devi Ma Kali, grace is not about encouraging psychological regression or giving up the necessary learning and responsibility to grow. It is a recognition that there are times when even a mature adult just needs to feel loved, held, and appreciated, cherished, and adored, not for the sake of boosting ego, but for replenishing the heart that wants to give and give and give. It is about withdrawing from the distractions and the battles for a time, not to escape from what you need to do, but to have the energy and clarity of mind to approach your life journey effectively. Regression is avoidance, whereas reconnecting with the childlike relationship to the divine replenishment the inner reserves so one can continue change, approach, and gain supportive allies so that success can unfold more graciously and swiftly. The devotee of Kali Ma and Hindu saint Sri Ramakrishna taught that when a tree is young, it should be fenced all around lest it be destroyed by cattle. What does that mean for us? Protective qualities such as healthy self-esteem can be burgeoning within us even when we are not fully aware of the extent of positive change that comes from the suitable inner shifts of mind, heart, and soul. Significant healing shifts often take place between conscious awareness. This is good. It prevents the sabotaging aspect of the mind from killing off that fledgling quality before it is strong enough to stand up to the patterns of the past and assert itself rather than, for example, being trampled by overly critical and shaming voices. The protection of the young tree is a symbol for taking care of that which is vulnerable until it becomes strong enough to stand on its own and fulfill its destiny. This is what a mother is meant to do for her child and what Kali Ma Devi does for all her children, if they will come to her. There is something good growing within you. Don't let clumsy or ill-wishing energies around you or within you get anywhere near it. Let Kali Ma protect you from within and without. This particular form of Kali is without the association of battles and war with which she is more commonly connected. Instead, she is the divine mother holding your being in her arms in a quiet and peaceful nursery of the soul, rocking you back and forth with a gently sweet lullaby upon her lips. The Hindu scriptures teach that when Shiva drank the poison that threatened to consume and destroy the world, he became sick with the pain of it and so transformed himself into a baby feeding at Ma Kali's breasts. Her milk soothed the poison, taking away the pain. If you have been taking on energies from others, perhaps unintentionally or even intentionally, in an attempt to alleviate their suffering, then the message is that Kali is providing you with relief and healing now. When you have so much going on that it all feels like too much, permit yourself to seek her out and be comforted, held, and reassured. It is natural for a child to need and reach for its mother. You are deserving of comfort. Allow yourself to experience it without reservation. Woo! Here's to me for reading all that. Okay, if you're still watching this, give a thumbs up so that this video can reach people who want to see the content. So that's very important. And as I said before, I have a attraction affirmations meditation available for free on my YouTube channel. And one of the reasons I wanted to make this is like for these reasons that were mentioned in there is because I need that mothering. I need that inner child healing. And for me, like I said, I often prefer it to come in the form of audio of the voice. And I felt like the affirmation videos and meditation videos that I would find online weren't doing it for me. They were not my specific cup of tea. In fact, one of them triggered me a bit, and I feel like that's not what we want. So I made my own, and I made my own in my own way, in a way that I feel was genuine, authentic, and spoken from a place of power. And there's more information on why and how in the description actually of that video. But something else that I wanted to talk about in this energy update is the idea that we need to have other people like earn love from us. This is something that I've definitely like believed and probably still believe and take it on myself. But a message that I got today as I was preparing for this energy update was that love should be easy. It should be an easy thing. And there's no limit on how much love you can have or how much love you can give or how many people or things or animals can receive your love, and to stop being so reserved when it comes to love, because love in its truth is automatically inclusive of having healthy boundaries. It's automatically inclusive of loving yourself and making the best choices for yourself. And so you don't need to be afraid when being in love and loving others that that's going to come at the detriment of yourself, because as it's at its purest form, at its core, love is automatically loving you. Loving others is automatically loving you. And I feel like this is really important. And the reason why is because of something that I mentioned in my pick a card. What was it called? This happened for a reason. I talk about at the beginning how the message I got was fear stops everything. Like, that's like the number one way, or perhaps the only way to like, and that's what was mentioned when I was reading this card, like stopping your gifts and your memories coming online is having fear about things. Fear will shut that shit down. It will stop it immediately, like these breaks. And so I feel like one of the ways to kind of practice being out of fear and being in that place of freedom and complete authority over yourself and your reality is to stop being so resistant to love, and to stop having such high and peculiar and specific like expectations or requirements for love. And I want to make this like, I want to like point something out, because a lot of the times whenever I say stuff like that, I feel like it can be taken as like, love people even if they run you over, don't have any boundaries, let people talk to you however, let people treat you however. That's not what I mean at all. Hell no. We ain't doing that at all, because, and that's what I was saying before, doing that would also mean that you're not loving yourself. And as I said, true love, truly being in a state of love, is automatically inclusive of loving yourself. And loving yourself means knowing when to put yourself first, knowing your boundaries, knowing how to say no, knowing how to say yes. Because I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on like knowing when to say no, but there's also times when you need to say yes and you need to try certain things, get out of your comfort zone. And you can be so stuck in that no, and I'm gonna do this and do things the right way, that you'll miss out when it's time to say no. So that love is also knowing when to say yes sometimes. And that's a message I've been given. There's like this TED talk, I can't remember the lady who gave it, but she said something like that. She was like, I fell in love, like people think that you can't love other people until you love yourself, but I fell in love with everyone else before I fell in love with myself. And I feel like in a way that's also a way that you can go about like loving yourself, is being very freely giving of your love with other people, like holding other people in a space of non-judgment and not asking so much of them, because really what that means is that you ask so much of yourself, and that you're very judgmental with yourself, and you have all these requirements for yourself before you can love yourself. So it's that's why I say it's both the same thing all the time. How you are on the outside and how you give love on the outside is how you also receive it internally. So just be more free and open with that, I would say, is important. Let me just check my notes for what else I wanted to talk about. Okay, I don't know how this is important, but I'm gonna talk about it because it's in my notes. Here I need to switch the decks. I heard that earlier. So blimps. There's this documentary on the architecture of the world, and it's like all these architects in the video and the documentary talking about architectural structures in the world, they kind of don't make sense. And I try to get everybody and their mama to watch this video, and I don't think anybody has fully and gotten back to me. But I always put it in the description of like these energy updates. It's not in there right now, but it will be. If you're watching this in the replay, it'll be in the description, this documentary. And in the documentary, they talk about blimps. And they talk about how we're taught that blimps, like if you've seen the movie Up, we're taught that like the blimps were, that's what I mean, like the blimp from the movie Up, are like full of air at the top, and then like at the bottom, that's the only space, but that's not true. And they explain how blimps were actually like the past airplanes, like instead of airplanes, it had blimps. And they talk about how blimps were actually way better than airplanes because they could carry, I think, like hundreds of people at a time. They were much more safe because they don't go as fast as airplanes. And they had all these luxurious accommodations, like I think like different floors in there. Like it was just much better. And that the Eiffel Tower is actually one of the places that the blimps used to get off. Like they would put the blimp at the top of the tower and the people would get off and they'd just go down the Eiffel Tower. And that way it was also better than airplanes because airports can't be in this middle of cities for obvious reasons because they're huge, they take up a lot of space. And so blimps were better because if you wanted to go to Paris, for example, you could literally get off immediately in the middle of the city. You didn't have to like go drive to like the city after the fact. Does that make sense? If you watch the documentary, they explain it much better. So there's that. And then I also watched the first episode of that Arcane show on Netflix. Didn't like it, but I watched the first episode to see if I would. And I feel like that also contributed to this dream because in that episode they were trying to, they broke into this like top floor housing or apartment or whatever, and they made off with these very expensive like blue balls that I never figured out what they were because I didn't finish watching the show. I didn't like it. But anyways, the dream I had. So in this dream, I was a part of this like group of spies almost, and there were like 4 or 5 of us, and we were this team, and we had like this very like clear mission, this clear task, which was to like reveal the truth of the infrastructure of the governing system that was at play. So somebody did a little and so it was kind of like The Giver. If you've seen the movie The Giver, or if you've seen The Host, that movie where like everything is like very perfect. It's a very perfect utopian society, not like The Hunger Games. It was more, like I said, like The Host and the Giver kind of movie. Very like sterile and like just very perfect. Like the trees were perfect and the plants and the butterflies were just so, like they landed just so, almost routinely, like they were in a machine. And me and my group of counterparts, partners, we wanted to reveal that like underneath it, the reason why it was like that was because it was like heavily controlled, and it and it wasn't true at all. I just saw like someone pass by. Ooh, 4 cups. I think we'll take this one out. This is the Modern Witch Tarot. I don't know what it means yet, but I'm gonna just take that. So we knew that they were gonna come and like let us out because they were so like peaceful and like above things. They didn't put us in a prison cell. They put us in this like a hotel room apartment type of thing. And we knew they were gonna come and get us and like unlock the door at a certain time. And so we made a plan. And we knew, I talked about the blimps that were in the sky, and we knew that the blimps that they had in the sky were not how they were supposed to be, that they were missing certain parts and certain pieces. And so I knew where those pieces were. I don't know how I knew that. And so what we did was, when we got out, we split up, we took off, we ran away from the security people, and we went and found these pieces that they didn't use in the blimps that they had. And we put them together and we made our own like hot air balloon contraption and like escaped that way. So that was something I wanted to share. I think it's a amalgamation. It's a collection of like different things I think that I'd seen in my reality. As I said, like the documentary, the Arcane, and I also think Wicked with the hot air balloon they tried and failed to use to escape. The Avatar, The Last Airbender, Everything is Fine. Verse. That episode when Sokka creates that hot air balloon for the Fire Nation. And then they use it against the Fire Nation. Okay, please. Wait, give me a second. I just heard Qatar, but it could just be Katara. I think what has happened was like a bit of interference. So I send it back 100-fold. What is this? Lots of swords. What the heck? What the heck is going on? And this one, please. The Two of Cups. Two of Wands, sorry. This deck is upside down, I think. Excuse me, no, it's not. These are all very like heavier cards. We have Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and then we also have Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. A lot of swords. So I feel like what might have happened is like someone watching this in the present, past, or future wanted me to do something for them. I feel like with something happening in their life that's like giving them a hard time. So that's why we have like the Four of Cups that we got earlier. It's not clarified by the Five of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. So if you're having, I'm gonna get back to the blimp thing, but if you're having like a difficult, like a hard time right now, and you don't know how to like get out of it, the four, to me, the number 44, the number 4, I have an angel number video on 44. If you want to go watch that, it's about like foundations, the earth, grounding. It's a very masculine number in my opinion. And so what I'm feeling you need to do is like get out of your head and like get into the material, or like get back into your body because you've been out of it. You could do this through exercise, through like yoga, Tai Chi, anything that requires like a lot of focus like on your body. Since I don't like to work out, I don't like to do those exercises and shit. Hiking, like doing a trail that like requires you to like pay attention to where you're walking or you'll fall. That's what I like to do instead. Can also help. With this, Everything is Fine, I do feel like it's something to do with your family or like your home life, and also the number 44, and also the Nine of Swords, which has to do like when you go to sleep, like having trouble when you go to sleep, or like not feeling safe in your home. What I've done when I don't feel safe in my home is I've made sigils, or sigil magic. Basically how you make sigils, which you could probably look online, but I got mine from a person online. You write down something. I am safe in my home is what I wrote. And then you cross out any repeating letters, right? Anything that repeats more than once, cross it out. Then you draw a circle and you write the remaining letters however you want in an art form or whatever inside of that circle. And what I do, I stamp it with like my essence, which is like, I either like kiss it or like put my saliva on it, which kind of sounds gross. So don't do that if you don't want to. But I usually do. I do like this, and I like put it on there like my essence. And then you put it somewhere around your space where you can see it every day, and that'll like that affirmation will repeat every time you see it. I am safe in my home, and so it'll be like a subconscious manifestation of that reality. Is what you can do. But if you have a little coin, if you have a little money, you can purchase some black sea salt. I think that's what it's called, or black dead sea salt, and put it like at your door of your room or your house to help with keeping low vibrational people out. There's also certain crystals you can get: tourmaline, obsidian, jet, I think, any of the black ones. And I would also too say like selenite. And because like I just heard that squeak because this is like connected to like family or something, so it's like the child, inner child of you. The crystal that I'm most associated with the inner child is the Dalmatian jasper, which she's somewhere. Where you at? Let me see. Where you at? Where you at? And you would be here for me. Here she go. Dalmatian jasper is very good for inner child. And then also ocean jasper, I think this one is called. I think jasper in general, because they're all sitting here together. This is the red jasper wrapped in some copper. Ooh. But yeah, Dalmatian jasper. And these like to disappear, just so you know, like Dalmatian jasper, they will disappear on you and then they'll pop back up, or one of mine never did. I was told because it was in a pyramid shape, and pyramids like to disappear because they're like portal centers. So this one has been pretty stable, but it did go away for a while. I found it after many months. So just be aware. And then the last one we have this Two of Wands in reverse. So I feel like with this one, you might be like wondering what choice to make in like a bigger decision in your life. And so for this, I will send you to my pick a cards. My pick a card, this is the reason. This happened for a reason. I have one. This is what you need to know. I have a lot of those. This is what you need to know. Messages from your higher self. I have what they fantasize about you. I even have one on like I think messages from your best friend, or all about your best friend, if this is like a platonic sort of thing. It's something with like you're trying to figure out like simultaneously like how someone feels about you, and then also like what choice to make in this situation is what I'm feeling for this one. And as I said, I have many pick of cards. Or if you would want something more personal from me, if you're on a budget, I have $11 sensitivity kits. All you have to do is just email me, queensensitivity1@gmail.com. Sensitivity kits are pre-written channel messages. I have two different types. I have general, and then I have love, romantic life ones. So the general ones, what I did was I sat in one sitting and I channeled, sometimes using tarot and oracle cards, 500 plus words each of channel messages. And then I also included channel playlists, like channel songs. And I also have angel numbers that might be relevant. And I also included like a diary entry section for you to reflect on the channel message. The people that have bought them so far, have all said that they felt personal and they felt like exactly what they needed to hear. Um, and I choose, like, if you order one from me, I'll intuitively choose one for you, like 1 through 10 from each one, from each group, depending on which one you purchase. The reason I did this is because I know people can't always afford to spend $40, $60 on a personal reading, but they still want to get something, because I've been one of these people. So that's more personal than like a general pick a card on a YouTube channel. And so this is a way. If you would like to spend a little bit more coin and get a more personalized message with me, I have letters of the heart, which are also typed if you don't want to like see my face. I have typed ones. I've also got really good responses from those. I've either gotten really good responses or people don't respond back at all. I think it's because I impacted them so much, is how I choose to see it. And these come in 600 or 1,010 words. Those are the two options, I think, for those. And you also have the option of getting images of the cards that I pull. And then I have calls of the heart, which are either on Instagram or Zoom calls with me like this, and I do your reading. Obviously, those will cost a little bit more than the letters of the heart, or I'll have a recorded YouTube video on a private link for you to get the reading with me if you don't have time, if our schedules don't connect, or you want to have it to view it in the future. And I don't close those links. Some people do, like some readers, like after a while they'll like get rid of the link for you to be able to view it, but I don't do that. I don't know if I change my mind in the future to do that, but right now I don't, because I don't want to. Yeah, it's clarified by the 7 of Cups in reverse. Like there's like something about like a choice. So as I said, those are the options that I have to help you with that choice. But if you don't like any of those options, if you don't want to spend time with me at all, what I do whenever I'm like having trouble, I'll pull cards, but that usually doesn't work because I don't do well with pulling cards for myself. So what I'll do is I'll ask for a lot of signs, and I'll ask for very, very specific signs. Like I'll ask for like a very specific kind of animal, to see a cheetah, to see a turtle, to see a red squirrel, like something very specific. Or you can ask to hear a song that resonates with a certain person. Like if you're trying to choose between two different people and there's a song that's associated with one person and a different song that's associated with another person, then ask to hear which song. Something else that I also will do, if I'm trying to make a choice, I'll ask spirit, I'll ask my highest self to block whichever one is not best for me, or both, if neither of them are best for me. So you just ask, if this is not meant to be, block it, and it will be blocked. That usually works fairly well with me. Like it'll just be very difficult to like see them or contact them or to meet with them. Or if this is not a person, if this is a job or something, it'll just fall through, and that will work. So now this is done. I think the thing with the blimp just like needed to be said. I don't think there's like much to it. Maybe just somebody need to hear it. Okay. So something else that I have in my notes is repeating patterns and clearing densities. Give me a moment. My nose always starts like draining whenever I'm like doing these videos. This is like I'm channeling a lot of messages, and so it's like coming in through my my crown and my third eye and like draining down my body. That's why I always say like I'm doing this stuff for free. This is for free. This is actual work. It's also something like I want to say, like, start like believing in yourself and like believing in like the quality of like your things that you create. Like this is high quality shit that I'm doing, and I feel like I have like a tendency to feel like, oh, don't pay me for this, or like I shouldn't get anything for this, but I should. This is work. This is work. This is something that I'm putting my love and my heart into. I deserve to be seen and acknowledged for it. So that's why I ask you to give thumbs up, to leave a comment, to donate if you feel called to recommend my work to others if you feel called to. This deck is calling me. This one. So we have some star seeds here, and the vent just came on. That's not gonna help my throat. Whew, Lord, this is strong. Kamara kina na sekere kina. Rokoro kina. Oh, this is one on the bottom. Light in the darkness. What is this trying to come through, honey? This is something I didn't expect this. As I was saying earlier, you may have noticed patterns coming up, like things from the past coming up, and then like clearing, coming up, patterns. One of them that I've noticed is like a pattern of scarcity, like not having easy access or quick access to the things you want coming up, and it's triggering, and then it'll clear out. It's clearing out currently for me. This is something that I like always get irritated with is this idea of scarcity, because we are so abundant, and so it's like it's an illusion of scarcity. Like, in order for humans or for people to experience scarcity here on this very, very, very abundant place, planet, plane, whatever, Earth, you would really have to like really like intentionally like fuck it up or like manipulate it in such a way where like it was scarcity. Like if you think about, I always use that movie, what's it called, Rango, with the little lizard and Johnny Depp. But there's a lot of examples, like the ants, no, A Bug's Life. Yeah, A Bug's Life movie where all the grasshoppers would like take all their food and like leave them scraps. Like there's plenty. Like imagine if you were an ant. Like there's so much food for ants on Earth. There's a lot of food for ants. You really have to like manipulate it to look like there's not a lot of food. And that's why I get really irritated with the scarcity on Earth, and like the fact that you have to do certain things to be able to access food and water and like shelter and free energy. Like I was thinking like all these people, it keeps being this pattern of like these genius people. They're like 12 years old and can do like neurosurgery if they were allowed, like, but they're like so smart. It's these geniuses that are born and they keep coming up with these solutions, free energy and all these things, being able to replicate food, and it just disappears. Like you just hear about all these geniuses and it just stays the same the whole time. And it's like that's a huge sign that like all of these problems of scarcity have already been solved a million times over, and they've been solved because the scarcity itself is inorganic and unnatural. So it's quite easy to do that, and so it just irritates me, these ideas of scarcity and like having to be patient and like do these things, but also at the same time, coming from a state of empowerment and, remembering who we are. Which one for this one? This one? I do want to say, in the description, there will also be links about, I always call him New Earth Dave, but it's Flat Earth Dave. There will be links to Darius J. Wright video, as well as Ramona Lappin. I always talk about Ramona Lappin because I feel like if you are a newbie to all of this, right? If you are a newbie to claiming your power, taking back your energy, not feeling ashamed about your truth and who you are, she's a great person to go to get your leadership gears churning, okay? And her activations are extremely powerful, and she's extremely generous with everything that she does. And I absolutely would not be like as confident and as sure of myself, and would not have developed a lot of habits that have helped me and saved my life in certain situations had it not been for exposure to her. So always Ramona Lappin, but always my videos too. My videos help you a lot. Okay, the card we have here is perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. What's so interesting is because when I was talking about scarcity, like this idea of like not having enough, there's other land masses that they don't show on the maps and we don't talk about publicly. Like there's so much more. But even here, like for example, I'm in the United States of America, whatever that means. There's like so much land here. There's so much land. There's so much space. There's so many resources, pyramids and shit here, ancient artifacts here, and yet it's like everybody's like programmed and taught to like constantly be searching for something else. Like it's somewhere else, but it's so much that's here already. And I feel like to take this to a micro message, to a micro level, this also counts for you too. Like looking for, like I said at the beginning, like feeling like you're not special enough, feeling like there's someone else that's more special than you. This hair is like irritating my arm. I'm not like trying to be cute. It was just irritating my arm. I wasn't trying to be like, ooh, look at my hair. No, it was like on my arm. Anyways. This is also a micro message for you. Like if you have been feeling like something outside of yourself, you have it already. It's within you. And this is something that I've been like really like pissed about, because it's like I already have like a degree, and it's like it's so hard to like get a decent job with my degree. And it's like this push to like, oh, just go back to school and like get a master's degree. And it's like it's always gonna be something in this world, in this society. Like it's always gonna be get something else, do something else, or do it this way and then we will accept you, or if you get this credential then we will believe you. I just fucking hate that. I don't like that. I already have everything that I will have in the future that'll make me so worthy of being able to live on my own independently and free. It's fake, and it just doesn't make any sense, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it. So this is a heavy emphasis to change your perspective and to be more appreciative of yourself and more knowing of the gifts that you already have, which are amazing. And you can do this with affirmations. I have my attractive affirmations meditation, and I'm making other ones soon, so keep an eye out for that. So as I said, we have the light in the darkness, which kind of like feels like it's the same as this one, like this little single dot. So have you been seeing dots like this, Dalmatian Jasper? Have you been seeing the dots? This is irritating me. Okay, so clarifying the perspective card, we have Dance with Death. I forgot to say, this is the Gothic Oracle. Dance with Death. So what I make of this card is to like dance with what you got. Like make it work with what you got. Like see what you got already. Like this is something that I recently was telling my friend, because we're both gonna be accountability buddies and, you know, hold each other accountable for certain things. And we both were talking about like how we don't have, certain musical instruments, we don't have access to certain things. And we were both saying, like, I realized, I was like, we already have things. Like, we do have things. We already have, laptops or access to iPads. We already have Wi-Fi. We have the internet. We have books. We have Oracle cards. We already have things. So let's use the resources that we have while we have them until we get the ones that we want. So I feel like this Dance for Death card really emphasizes like that patience is not necessarily like sitting and waiting on like something to become available. Sometimes, or maybe every time, patience is using what you got in that waiting process of building what you have into something that you didn't even know you wanted or needed. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Sometimes patience isn't simply waiting on like that something that you want, the opportunity to appear. Sometimes patience is using what you have, the space you have, the time you have to create something you didn't know you wanted. That's the message of this card. I write songs, by the way. If you're interested in those, let me know in the comments. So the card that we have that's clarifying light in the darkness is Weight of the World. It says boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. Again, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment. So like I said, it can reach more people. But in the meantime, Weight of the World, boundaries, and then light in the darkness. I feel like this is what I was saying earlier about falling in love easily, being in love easily. Don't try to be so cool about it. That's that song by Boy Genius. Don't try to be so cool about love. Don't try to have like such like a, it's not high standard. It's like unnecessary requirement or unnecessary guidelines or like earning love. Obviously you can have requirements about how people treat you, and you have to have boundaries in any relationship, even with yourself. But love, the feeling of unconditionally loving someone or enjoying them despite their flaws or because of their flaws and their insecurities and all of these things, that should be more free flowing because it's water, and water is flowing, it flows. And I'm feeling here with this Weight of the World, like when you stop that flow, when you dam it up, it becomes heavy. Like running water isn't heavy, it's light, it's easy, it's breezy. It's only when you like build up the water and you collect it that it becomes this very heavy thing. Let it flow, let it be, let it go. Okay, I feel like there is one more message, so let me check my notes. Can you see these? I don't want you to see because one of the pictures was a little explicit. Okay, so the last little message that I have in my notes is things backfiring. So like you having a plan, you wanting things to go a certain way, and then they're not going a certain way. And this, I feel like it's very simple. Excuse me. The reason as to why like you wanted things to go a certain way and they're not going a certain way is because they're not supposed to. And because there's something bigger coming. There's something bigger, 121. If you've been seeing 12, 21, there's something bigger and better coming. And if you've been seeing those angel numbers or that angel number, the message is to keep going even if you've failed, even if it looks like you're failing or something's not selling or you're just keep being unsuccessful. Keep going, especially if you know it's like a project from the heart, especially if you know it's something that you're meant to be doing and that you are very extremely passionate about. keep going. Like don't stop. The backfiring, the things going wrong, or like the bad sales or things just not getting off the ground, it's because there's much bigger, better opportunity. I'll never forget listening to Solange's album, A Seat at the Table, and she has this interlude or whatever from Master P. And Master P, he talks about like getting an offer from this white man for a record label for $1 million or something like that, or $250,000. I think it was $1 million. And his brother was like, or somebody in his family was like, take the deal, like take it, like that, like that's it, $1 million, like it's gonna change your life. And Master P responded like, if this one man with his first offer thinks that I'm worth, like my work is worth $1 million, then I gotta be worth 40 or 50 million. So think like that. When things are going wrong, when you're getting shifted to a different space, or you're forced to change up tactics and divert or pivot. For some reason, I'm seeing the movie Dune 2. I need to watch it again. It's because there's something bigger. There's something better, bigger, specifically bigger, better for you that brings more abundance into your life. Something that I've noticed is that a lot of people at this time, you probably noticed it at the end of 2024, are becoming entrepreneurial, wanting to start their own businesses, wanting to create spaces for themselves rather than just work for other people. That's like the energy that's been like very, very potent with this new age. But you know, it's all just leading to ascension. It's all leading to everybody waking up to the truth and having new earth where everybody is free and we are all together and united and the bullshit is gone, right? So the message that I was, Jesus Christ, is it working? Oh, there it goes. That was so weird. The message I was getting when I was thinking that was that, oh man, like if everybody's an entrepreneur, then like there won't be enough spaces. Like if everybody's trying to like bake cakes, and who are we gonna sell the cakes to? And like there's not gonna be enough consumers. But like that's not true. Like that's what I heard. Like there's enough space for everyone. There's enough space for everyone to work for themselves. And I feel like that's also how it's supposed to be. And like one example, well, for one, there's enough space for everybody. Like the reason that I was thinking that there wouldn't be enough space for everybody to have their own independence was because of my conditioning and my belief systems, which are limited, and believing that in these ideas of scarcity. But something else that I thought about was there's this number one barbecue business in Texas, like the number one barbecue place in Texas. They go to other barbecue places to eat their food. And so that right there is an example of like how there are still consumers in a world where everyone is a producer, if that makes sense. There's still consumers in a world where everyone is producers. Like we still need each other, and in fact, it's probably better if it's like that. I don't know. Like I'm not like a political science person or sociology whatever person. I don't know all the political terms and like how these things would actually work if they were put into the reality as exists now. But this is a message that I got. This is also something that I saw in one of my visions of New Earth. And it's also something I want to talk about briefly, I think. And so, as I said earlier, I'm sorry I'm jumping from topic to topic, but I do want to say this. I try to like mention this in all of my videos because, as I said before, the purpose of me doing this is to make people activate and remember, and then therefore to question and to decide for themselves and be autonomous and discover themselves and discover the truth. So I always try to mention this. Ascension is happening. New Earth is here. That's what we're going to, and that's what's here. That's what's now, because time does not function in the way that we think it does, and it also does not exist. But in the first vision I had of New Earth, it was through a meditation. And this is why I keep saying listening for me, auditory things really get my juices flowing. And the first time that I saw New Earth in that meditation, I wept. I cried because it was such a relief. It was like, you don't know how like heavy it is here until you leave. And when I was on New Earth, I cried because it felt so light. And I no longer had to feel the weight of being here. And I don't know where I was. I don't know if like that's how I wanted it to look or what, but it was great. It was a bunch of like white trees, and like everybody was just like to themselves, like, but also together. Like there was no need for like all the hubbub. Like everybody was, they just, I think what it was is like they weren't like judging you, or they weren't needing you to be something that they could tolerate or they could understand. Everybody was like their own to themselves. And I could see like the ants, and everything was just so like alive. It was so alive and fascinating, and you could feel everything. Is how I experienced it, and it was just the most wonderful thing in the world. And it's like once you felt that kind of feeling of like relief and like just joy and like bliss and like feeling so like at peace, you don't go back. And so if you have yet to experience that, I greatly encourage you to try in whatever way you feel comfortable. That's why I keep on like clarifying that this is how I meditate. Meditation for different people can be different. It doesn't have to be laying down, it doesn't have to be listening to meditation, it doesn't have to be blah 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 blah. Do it in how it works for you. Do it in how it works best for you. For me, it works best through auditory things, through listening to things, and laying down. Because I'll get so high in frequency that you can't, it's not safe to do anything else, because you could hurt yourself if you're like, woo. That's why it works best for me lying down. But I greatly, greatly encourage you, this is me lighting a fire under your ass, to meditate and to implore, command, and will yourself to experience New Earth, to experience ascension, to have an out-of-body experience, whatever floats your boat. Because I'm a very what's it called, astral projecting person. Like I'm very good at like astrally projecting and like being partially here and then being partially somewhere else is like what I'm like very naturally good at. And so that's what I mostly tend to do. For other people, it might be through your dreams, it might be through, I don't know, just something else. But I implore you these things. Check out my other energy updates for tips that I do as a spiritual person. I also mentioned some in this video. So if you missed those, be sure to go back and watch those. But I think this is all I have for now. I'm so excited. I want to do a pick card, but I probably need to like rest my throat. But this is very exciting. Like I said, good things ahead. Fall in love easily. Be limitless in your love. And I'll see you soon. Okay?